Now, as most of you guys know, there are mainly 4 teams in the Eastern Conference that have a legitimate chance to make the NBA Finals, and those teams are the Celtics, the Raptors, the 76ers, and the Bucks. This is something that we all know, but when it comes to which one of these teams will actually make it out of the East, there's a pretty interesting conversation to be had. Now, this type of conversation you can't really have with the West because, let's all be honest, there's only one team that's going to make it out of the West, and we all know who it is. To be honest, anything can really happen in the playoffs, and the seeding of the top 8 will mainly determine the chances of these teams to make a deep playoff run. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw any upsets because it's the playoffs and anything can happen. But these are the teams that have the most legitimate chances to make a finals run. So what is going on, guys? My name is Maz, and I'm going to tell you about the teams and their road to the finals, and we're going to talk about the seeding, and I'm also going to be giving you guys a positive and negative thing about each of the 4 teams and what I believe, in my opinion, are their chances of making the finals. Now, like I said again, this is all my opinion, so you might have a different opinion. You might not think that this team will make the finals or whatever. So I want to have a conversation about it, even if you don't agree with me. So, that's what the comments are for. Please leave your comment if you don't agree and what you think and everything. I'm willing to, have a decent discussion. And also, when the regular season ends and the seeds are determined for the East and the West, I will make a video with my predictions round by round in the playoffs. So once that comes in April, be on the lookout for that. But for this video specifically, I'm just going to be focusing on the 4 teams in the East that I mentioned already. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So the Boston Celtics are the 5th seed right now in the East. They are 3-0 versus the Sixers, 1-2 against the Raptors, and 1-2 against the Bucks. So if the regular season ended today, they would be the 5th seed, which would mean that they'd be playing against the 76ers in the first round. And they have a good record against them, so that first round matchup against the Sixers isn't, really this is a series that could go either way. Now, we all know that the Celtics are not really doing so hot right now, especially recently. They just got blown out by the Raptors, and they've just been losing easy games that they should be winning. And obviously, if you're a Celtics fan, it's concerning because you're a team that's supposed to be, everyone had you guys as a top 2 team in the East, and it was automatically assumed that you guys would be making the finals this year. But with the way the team has been playing this season, that's why we're having this kind of discussion right now. And then you add the whole Kyrie situation where he's saying that, leading a team isn't as easy as I thought it would be. I called LeBron to say I'm sorry for stuff and all that, and then everyone's just basically like, you know what? All of this is happening, and he's just not happy with the way the Celtics are playing right now, and he's not happy with the situation that he's currently in. So people are saying that he's just, after this season ends, that he's going to be gone in the summer, and I am one of those people too. I do strongly believe that if the Celtics don't make the finals, then Kyrie's gone. There's no way he stays after this season, and it's just going to be, one of those things that happens again with Kyrie. But then, to be fair, remember the Celtics run that they had last year in the playoffs without Kyrie and without Gordon Hayward. That young core carried them to the Eastern Conference Finals and put them toe-to-toe with LeBron and almost beat them. So even with all these struggles, we can't forget that they still have those young pieces like Jason Tatum, Terry Rozier, Jaylen Brown. They have Al Horford. They have all these other guys. They played extremely well in the playoffs last year, and who's to say they won't do it again? And then you add that they have a healthy Kyrie and a healthy Gordon Hayward, who is struggling, but he's still healthy. This is a team that can still make a playoff run, and I don't think that we should automatically count them out. But if we're looking compared to the other 4 teams, I do believe they have the lowest chance to make the NBA Finals, but that's just my opinion. So that's basically what I'm feeling about the Boston Celtics. So the Philadelphia 76ers have the 4th seed in the Eastern Conference right now. They are 0-3 versus the Celtics, 1-3 versus the Raptors, and so far they've lost 1 game versus the Bucks. They have 2 more games to play with them. Now, don't let this record against these teams fool you. So the Sixers are definitely a fun team to watch. Everyone, these Sixers games are so much entertaining. And this is a very young team with a lot of talent. And, with the addition of Jimmy Butler earlier this season, and then you add this trade deadline trade with Tobias Harris and Boban Marjanovic, these are great moves that the Sixers have made. And the GM Elton Brand has made it clear that they're trying to win as soon as possible. And I think that has been a great move. I think that moving Markelle Fultz was also a great decision. You know, things happen with the Sixers, and it's best for him to move on and have a new place somewhere else. But for now, if we're looking at this team right now, this is a team that can make this is a sleeper team in my opinion. You can't really count them out. Even with the bad record that they have against these top contender teams, the playoffs are a completely different ball game, and we know how passionate some of these guys are. Jimmy Butler, we know how he is. We saw the Timberwolves drama, and we see the kind of guy he is. He wants to win, and he has that fire in him where he wants to do whatever it takes to win the games. And you add that with Joel Embiid, who's also one of those guys who's just very gritty and wants to win and will do whatever it takes to win, very passionate and stuff. I think you combine that with also, obviously, a talented Ben Simmons who's been playing like an absolute star this year. There's no way that this young core, on top of having Tobias Harris and Boban and a sharpshooter in JJ Redick and all the other young guys around him, there's no way that this team won't have a good run in the East. My only negative, to be fair, is that if the playoff seeding stays the same right now, that the Sixers would have to play either the Raptors or the Bucks in the second round. So if they're really trying to make a deep playoff run, they're going to have a lot of challenges early on. And, you know, especially, you know, they're playing the Celtics in the first round. That's going to be tough. They're going to have to overcome that hump. And then in the second round, they're going to be playing either the Raptors or the Bucks. So in the first two rounds of the playoffs, you're already playing against two of the two contenders in the East. And you're going to have to play super hard to get those two big wins in those first two rounds. And then, you know, go to the conference finals and play the other guy. So the Sixers' road in the playoffs is going to be the most challenging. But I do see them having a higher chance compared to the Celtics, only because there's more passion in their team. And we see that they haven't really slacked off, to be fair. They've just been kind of playing consistently well. Whether they've been winning a lot or losing a lot, they've still been on the top of the East, and they've still been playing really well against great teams. As I'm recording this, they're playing the Warriors tonight. So, you know, seeing how these guys play against the Warriors is going to be an interesting test, and we can get an idea of how they would play if, you know, hypothetically they go to the finals against the Warriors. So the Sixers, in my opinion, have a higher chance than the Celtics, but it's going to be a challenging road to the finals for the Sixers. So the Milwaukee Bucks, they're first in the Eastern Conference. They have the best record of the NBA. And as I'm recording this, they beat the Lakers last night and they've clinched their playoff spot. They're 2-1 against the Celtics. And they've won one game against the Sixers. And they're 3-1 against the Raptors. I mean, really, how much can I say about this Bucks team? They've been on a tear all season long, and they haven't slowed down. Giannis has been playing at an unbelievable level, and he is without a doubt the runner-up for MVP this season. He's made a strong case for MVP, and, you know, if you're going to argue about who would win MVP, you can have a really good discussion between him and James Harden. But everyone knew that Giannis was going to be playing at a high level this season, especially with the way he's been progressing year after year after year. And this year has been no different. The only thing is that not only is Giannis playing at a high level, but the team around him is also playing incredible. Eric Bledsoe's been playing really well. He recently just got his contract extension, so he's been getting paid, and he deserves it with the way he's been playing. The great trade with Nikola Mirotic at the deadline, another great addition to add to the team, a great shooter, and just already we've been seeing it. Him on the court with the Bucks, it's been making a difference, and they've been able to close out games really well in close situations. So the addition of Nikola Mirotic has been great for the team. And yesterday they signed Pau Gasol, which is very interesting, but I see this working out really well for the Bucks. You have a veteran guy on your team with championship experience, also along with this young core who's willing to make a playoff run when no one really counts them in as a legit team that could make the finals. This is one of the sleeper teams. People assume that just because they have the best record in the NBA that they can't make the finals or that they can't make a good playoff run because of the other teams, but you can't count them out. Obviously, we see the record against these teams. They're 3-1 against the Raptors. They have a good record against the Sixers and the Celtics. So there's no reason as to why they can't make at the bare minimum the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think that, in the Eastern Conference Finals, no matter who they play, I think that they could give any team a run for their money and make any series interesting. So if the Bucks, or at least I believe the Bucks will make the Eastern Conference Finals, they can have a really entertaining series here and make it a 6-7 game series. And I think that this could be really good for the Bucks, and hypothetically, if they were to make the finals, they could give the Warriors a good run for their money. I'm not saying that they will beat them, but I'm saying that, they could do really well with the Warriors compared to, obviously, how the Cavs have done before. This is a completely different team compared to the Cavaliers last year. So I think that this team can do really well against the Warriors team that has had their slumps this year. So I honestly believe that you can't count this team out. They will at the bare minimum make the Eastern Conference Finals. They've been making great signings. Giannis has been continuously playing well, and when the playoff time comes, he's going to turn it up a notch too, and it's going to be fun to watch. So they have a really good chance of making the NBA Finals. Now, the Toronto Raptors have the second seed in the Eastern Conference. They're 1-3 against the Bucks, 3-1 against the Celtics, and 3-1 against the Sixers. This isn't another all-around great team. I mean, Kawhi Leonard's been playing incredible this year. He's made it the All-Star team. He's been tearing it up in his year with Toronto. Even when people really questioned how the Raptors would do, because just signing Kawhi Leonard wouldn't be enough, because we all know the drama that happened in the summer. We know that Kawhi wanted to go to LA. They sent him to Toronto, and we didn't know how that would work, because people assumed that, or we all thought that he wouldn't really want to play, because Toronto wasn't his original destination choice. So people thought that he really wouldn't want to play as a high level, or he really wouldn't want to try as much. But all of that is just not true, as we see. He's putting up all-star numbers. He's averaging 27 points, 6 rebounds. He's again one of the best defensive players in the league. You have young guys around you like Pascal Siakam, who's been making a great place for most improvement player. And then you add the other young guys around you. Kyle Lowry also, he's continuously playing great. He's always very consistent, and he's always playing at an all-star level year after year. And with the addition of Kawhi, that hasn't changed. And then you add, the trade with Marc Gasol. This is another great addition to the team. A solid big man who's been an all-star, and to complement the talented guard in Kyle Lowry and Kawhi. These three guys, along with Pascal Siakam and the other young core, make a great team, and they will definitely make a playoff run. And the reason I have them slightly above the Bucks with making the finals is because of their record against the other Eastern teams. The only team they're struggling with is the Bucks, but I don't really see that, because once the playoffs come around, and my prediction is that the Raptors and the Bucks will meet in the conference finals, I honestly believe that this will be a 7-game series, and the Raptors would slightly edge it out. Because if I'm looking at the young core that Toronto has and the young core that the Milwaukee has, I give the slight edge to the Raptors on the fact that they have more playoff experience compared to the Bucks, because the Bucks last year, they were a first-round exit. The Raptors, were a second-round team last year. They made the conference finals before. So this is a team with playoff experience. And I feel like with LeBron not being in the East anymore, they know that they have no excuse but to make the finals. And I think that they are easily going to do that. The only real negative I can think of for the Raptors is that they have choked in the past, and mainly a lot of it has to do with LeBron being in the East. They got swept in a series that they should have won. They lose every year. The past few years that they've lost in the playoffs, there's only one team they've lost to, and that's the Cavaliers with LeBron. Now that he's not in the East anymore, I think the Raptors have no excuse. They have to make the finals, because if they don't, that's a huge failure, because they've been beat year after year by LeBron, and this time they don't have LeBron to go against, and they can't even make the finals. That's so bad. But I honestly believe that if the Raptors were to make the finals, they would have the best shot at being champions, not only in the East, but also in the finals. So that wraps up my 4 teams and my opinions on the 4 contenders. Obviously, anything can happen. The playoffs are a completely different ballgame compared to the regular season. the teams that are struggling right now could turn it up, and the teams that are playing great right now could go down. Anything can happen, but you know, this is just kind of my opinion based off of what we've seen in the regular season and what I can see happening and what I think are somewhat realistic scenarios that can happen in the playoffs. So that's, again, all my opinion. Again, I'm willing to have that discussion in the comments if you don't agree with me. So, you know, if you don't, please leave a comment, and I want to hear you guys out. I want to hear what you guys think about who you think could make the finals in the Eastern side. So that's gonna wrap up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, please be sure to leave a like, and also please subscribe to support the channel. I will have a regular upload schedule coming soon. I'm just kind of trying to make sure that I can get that sorted out, and once I do, I will have a consistent upload schedule to continuously make great content for you guys. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe and support the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.